Nancy Pelosi is asking the House to come back early in order to try to address the concerns over the Postal Service. What do you think can be done?
Well, of course, the president has stiffed the Congress on subpoenas. He has refused to let people testify. I suspect that he's gone too far on this, even for him, because the Republican members of the House and Senate are really hearing from outraged voters, veterans who aren't getting their medicine, people who aren't getting their paychecks, people who are expecting things in the mail and not receiving them. This is really an outrageous assault on an American institution that goes back to the very beginning of our country.
What happens, though? I mean, if, the Postal Service has sent out letters to states saying, essentially, we may not be able to if people are using mail-in votes, we may not be able to get them in time and they'll be disqualified. What happens if millions of votes are disqualified simply because the U.S. postal system couldn't handle the number of ballots?
We cannot allow that to happen. You see them going around with flatbed trucks and picking up the mailboxes outside of senior citizens centers and schools and places, libraries, places where people are used to dropping off their mail. We cannot allow this to happen. And if Republicans in the House and Senate continue to be so frightened of a tweet from Donald Trump that they just turn backflips whenever he asks them to, even if it means destroying the United States Postal Service during an election when people need it more than ever because of the pandemic, I think there will be a verdict rendered at the polls that will be truly historic. It goes way more than partisanship. This is about what our country is made of. We cannot allow this kind of behavior.
The president said out loud last week that if the Postal Service doesn't receive the $25 billion in funding Democrats want for the agency, then the post office won't be able to handle the influx of mail-in ballots. He then later kind of walked that back, saying he's using it as a bargaining chip. I'm wondering how you heard that comment from the president.
Well, I heard the first comment you quoted from him was said on Fox News in a kind of a knowing way so that he could alert his partisans that this is a part of the scheme to fix the election, to prevent people from voting by mail. And all of the research, Anderson, it's important to say this, there's never been any evidence that voting by mail favors Democrats or Republicans. It's even Steven. Now, this pandemic election may be different because he has grossly mismanaged the nation's response, but it's not a partisan issue. And during a pandemic, people need the option to vote by mail. And the states that have pioneered this have shown that there's virtually no fraud whatsoever, no partisan effect, as I've said. So he is simply trying to jerry-rig and fix the election in his favor. I don't think he's going to be able to do it. I think that enough Republicans will stand up and say, no, this is a bridge too far. I'm not going to go along with Donald Trump and jump off the cliff with him in this.